Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. This is our daily horizon view. The date is the 16th of the 4th, 2009. As always, this is our top fives for the ASX exchange traded funds. Our spotlight today is ASX Hack, which is a BetaShares Global Cybersecurity ETF. And it's brought to you, as always, by BetaShares. Quick overview of the markets. All Ordinaries closed up 0.37% at 63.71. We had positive gains in healthcare, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, financials, utilities, information tech. The rest is flat or red. We had a little bit of up movement for our silver, but mainly gold's down, platinum's down, crude and petroleum related products overall down, unless you're drinking ethanol, and that's up a bit, so go easy on that. Top fives percentage rises. We had Hack, which we're going to look at later. If you want to just look at the overview on that ETF, go straight to the end. And you can view the info there. So Hack's a BetaShares Australia Cybersecurity ETF. We had also MNRS. We had IWLD, IAA, QUAL. So today Hack was up 1.07% on reasonable volume, 11.5 thousand million. Sorry, that's just being silly. 11,500. Top 5 percentage falls. Let's see what we've got here. QCB, ETPMPT, ETPMPD, and rents and fuel. We'll have a look at QCB, which was down 11 cents or 1.82%. On pretty low volume, just under 2,000 shares traded. We'll have a quick squiz at fuel. Overall, looks like commodities have been smashed. So QCB and all, pretty much all commodities except rent, which is a real estate ETF. So fuel is the BetaShares Global Energy Companies ETF. That's currency hedge, and that tracks the Nasdaq Global Energy Index, and as always, that index is ex-Australia. Top $5 rises: IVV, IAA, VTS, IHOO, IJX. So we had IVV, which is the iShares S&P 500 ETF. That was up $1.78, which equates to 0.44% on pretty strong volume, 22,200 traded. Top 5 dollar falls. Let's see what we had today. So we had ETPMPD, ETPMPT, IGB, which is easy to say, ILB, BISM, which is one I haven't come across before, so that's a newbie. So we had our ETPMPD, which is the ETF's physical platinum ETF, and that's backed by physical platinum metal held in the HSBC Bank in the United States of America. And it was up $2.05, which equates to 1.125% on a massive volume of 12 shares traded today. 12 shares. Let's have a quick look at VISM. VISM, which is a new one, I'm sure, is a Vanguard MSCI International Small Companies Index ETF. Yes, definitely a new one. Allows investors to participate in the long-term growth potential typical of international small company sector. So this one has Twilio in it and a few other sort of smaller mid-scale sort of stocks. So Twilio is a hot mover on the Nasdaq at the moment. So if you're looking for a little tip, have a geezer at Twilio. If you can trade in the States, worth a look. That was just a random aside. Top 5 number of trades. We had STW, VAS, IVV, IEU, and VGS. So we had 264 trades today for STW, which is a State Street Spider S&P ASX 200 fund. And that one has about $3.6 billion invested. Yeah, so the people looking to move some money into the ASX 200. Top 5 for volume, we had QFN, USD, STW, SLF, AAA. QFN, as some people may remember, is the BetaShares ASX 200 Financial Sector ETF. It has a nice little dividend of roughly 4.47% when I last checked last time. Definitely an interesting one to have a look at if you're chasing some yield. It was up 0.08, so 8 cents. That is 0.75%. Volume was 3 times USD or thereabouts. So people looking to get a little bit of yield out of that one. So that one, QFN, chock full of banks. So top 5 for value, IVV, STW, QFN again, VAS, AAA, so IVV, which is our iShares S&P 500 ETF. That one seeks results that correspond to the price and yield performance of the the US large cap stocks. What am I talking about? ASX, it's the US. We've got about $3 billion in market cap for that one, 2.9 or thereabouts. So up $1.78, which is 0.44%, just above $9 million value traded today. So let's get stuck into our spotlight, and as mentioned before, our spotlight is ASX Hack, which is the BetaShares Global Cybersecurity ETF. As we all know, we focus on ETFs here. Hack aims to track the performance of the Nasdaq Consumer Technology Association Cybersecurity Index, which is a mouthful. So all the bullshit, blah, 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 before fees and expenses. So it provides a simple way to get exposure to the leading companies in the global cybersecurity sector. Have a quick look at what they are and who they are in a minute. So as with all these ETFs, so simple, cost-effective way to access the diversified portfolio of world-leading cybersecurity companies. With a single trade, you can get exposure to, particularly diversified portfolio. The fund aims to track the performance of the index, so therefore it's not actively managed, so that's why the fees are so low. So it invests in global giants, so the big tech companies, and also emerging leaders in the sector, so the cutting edge guys as well, not just the big fat elephants in the room. So strategy to invest in both existing marquee names as well as emerging players in the cybersecurity industry. So you get the good mix. Flash through this because I forgot again. We had a net asset value of $7.84, so trading just above net asset value at $7.55. Management fee, which I think may have changed recently, is 0.67%, not too bad for what you get, I don't think. I was actually surprised that this one to actually get a little bit of a dividend, and that's paid semi-annually in January and July, and the dividend yield, when I checked it, was forecast to be 4.3%, which is pretty good for this type of ETF. In my opinion, Hackers is a solid option to give the investor access to some of the world's biggest cybersecurity businesses. So you got Palo Alto, Splunk, Fortinet, Cisco, and Raytheon. They're always in the news in the States. So over the long term, this ETF could produce market-beating earnings growth compared to the rest of the market. Also, I think worth having a look at ASX Asia, ASX RBTZ, and ASX Robo. These alternatives aren't an exact match because there's nothing else that I could find trade on the ASX that mirrors or is similar to the cybersecurity ETF. The other two focus on robotics and that type of thing, and also Asia's the top 50 tech companies in Asia. Gotta flip through this right. So we're looking at some pretty good returns. The fund was created on or started trading on the ASX at the 30th of August 2016. So since inception, it's done 18.96%, which is pretty good. So top 10 holdings, which we may have mentioned some before. So Fortinet, Cisco, Palo Alto, Splunk, Raytheon, Zeclair, however you say that, Okada, CyberRack Software, how the hell you say that name, Booz Allen Hamilton Holdings, which is a mouthful, never heard of those companies, and Akamai Technologies. All sounds pretty good. With a lot of these ETFs, you want to have a look at how the top 10 holdings are performing, and that's going to give you a good idea of how the overall ETF will perform because of the weighting. So this looks to have a different weighting in it. Just looking at the weighting now, it looks to be rather even, but some of these can be weighted quite heavily towards the top 10, and that's going to influence your returns on that ETF. Anyway, moving on. Please do some further research, have a look at those other alternatives I mentioned. Our little presentation today is for information purposes only. We're not recommending you buy anything. Please do some more research and take your own financial situation. We are here to crack your financial sky with information, demystifying things a bit for everybody. So we're going round and round and round and round. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Always looking to get feedback from everyone. So if you've got some ETFs you'd like me to have a bit deeper dive into, just leave a comment, let me know, and I can do some further research on some of these things. Ciao.